Hi, I'm Joanne Harbinson, and I'm a director with the Sustainability Project. This demonstration site is going to be amazing in the future. It's going to show how we can capture runoff from lands like the parking lot and the rooftops off buildings, and so it slows it down as it comes down through the bioswale. So this is going to be a great project that we can see. We can show people how the bioswale works and all the benefits to that.
The Sustainability Project is a group of people who support a nonprofit organization. It's focused on doing nature-based solutions, things that have a lasting impact to make the world a better place. Last year, we applied for funding from the Greenbelt to start a project called Regenerate Grey Bruce.
This process of care and patience is something that I think we have lost, and a lot of our disconnect to the living world comes from this disconnection between us as caretakers, basically. My interest is really in teaching about living systems. There's an initial process of planting a tree, and then you maintain it all the time.
It's about giving nature back to communities. And we, as a board, as a steering committee, have looked at opportunities where nature might have been changed over time due to population expansion, logging, changes in the environment.
This is not going to get more pleasant. And so the teachers who shared this idea started to work with other teachers and convince them, and ultimately we had a meeting with the vice principal. We immediately also talked with the school board, and they were also supportive.
Day one was beautiful because we had nice clear weather, and we had everything arrive on time. The trees were not anticipated to go in, but because everyone was excited about the project, we felt it would be such a terrible loss if they didn't get to plant a tree, especially if they weren't going to show up again later. It was their one and only chance, so we planted a lot of trees on Monday.
We've been able to, with our partner, the Greenbelt Foundation, work with wonderful community members, including the Rotarians of Wiarton, the Peninsula Shores District School, the Blue Water District School Board, and countless other donors who have helped us get to realize this project.
There was 25 volunteers on Thursday. The Bagadawad Alliance came and brought 5 volunteers, so we recognize that we couldn't have done what we did that day without Bagadawad Alliance. And from Neyashiniming in the Chippewa-Nawash unceded First Nation. And we also had Neighborhoods North, and we had the community garden people, the community garden network.
So with community partners, we're digging in today. We're creating the landscaping parameters to support the installation of a tiny forest.
So this tiny forest idea is basically bringing all of those pieces together. It brings a forest to a school. It creates a living ecosystem that people can see and experience. But it also gives an opportunity to involve students from the very beginning of tree planting through success and failure, maintenance.
We had classes that Nick, the teacher, was bringing on purpose, and then we had classes that were just coming by out of interest, and every kid had wanted to figure out why we were doing it. So it wasn't what we were doing. I think they understood that they were planting trees, but all the why. So it was really fun to talk to kids and just tell them that It's for biodiversity, for animals, not so much for animals to live, but for animals like a restaurant maybe instead, so that they could come and eat the berries and the nuts.
So our project basically has two elements. One element is a bioswale that catches water to slow down the runoff of water and keep it at the space. The water gets distributed by the drainage pipe, and the entire sausage will be filled with water and then slowly released into the ground. And the trees then, with their root systems, can grab that water over many weeks. And the second element is the tiny forest that uses this water and transpires it into the air while growing.
We're looking specifically for Ontario native, locally grown forest constituents. So trees, shrubs, grasses, perennials.
That you don't plant the fast growers that would just shade over everything, but you prep the soil and then you plant way too many later succession trees. So we're planting about 50 species of different trees. We're planting Carolinian species in a Carolinian ecosystem, micro-ecosystem, and more like a maple pine ecosystem. And hopefully we get a few donations of fruit trees.
So it's a tiny forest, but it's going to involve a lot of choir members who can sing together and replicate what's going on in some of the bigger forest tracts around us.
I think our biggest volunteer turnout is today, Sunday. So we have tons of people spreading mulch and making sure the trees don't get trampled. And just to be eyes, watching the trees, observing and studying the trees that were planted earlier in the week to see if there's any damage yet or any wind damage or any problems that we need to worry about. Just a lot of us are taking it easy to just do a lot more qualitative stuff on the tiny forest. So we had lots of different groups represented, which showed also to the kids that like adults could work together. It was neat to see like volunteerism in the last few years, especially with global pandemics. It was very seldom that these kids, I think, saw adults working together to achieve a common goal.
What we're hoping for here with our tiny forest within the greater context of regenerating gray spruce is that over time people will be inspired to experience nature and say to themselves, how did all this happen and why does it look so good? Because we anticipate it's going to flourish.
We took a bit longer because I think we have one of the biggest Miyawaki forests in history. We have a not so tiny forest.
Growing a tiny forest is a long-term commitment, and that's what caring for nature is in the end. It's a commitment to give care over a long time and build a relationship with this ecosystem.
And so we'll document how it looks over time. We'll study it. We'll see what birds are attracted to it, what beetles, bugs, and various levels of the living community are attracted to it. And we'll stand back in wonder and say to ourselves, we did it. This is a gift for the community for as long as the community is here. And everybody who contributed to it will be remembered.
Thank you to everyone who came out, supported the project, especially the volunteers and the wonderful Wiarton Rotary for the financial support.
Thank you to the Stewardship Grey Bruce and the Lake Huron Forever Fund for their support.
Thank you to TD for the Friends of the Environment grant and to everybody at the Blue Water School Board and Peninsula Shores District School to help make it happen.
And thank you to the Greenbelt Foundation for supporting Regenerate Grey Bruce. Without that, all of this wouldn't have been possible. And of course, thanks for all of you.
Yes.
This was awesome.
Team.
Woo!